Our Saturday Overdrive continues here on CBS Sports Network. A beautiful night in Las Vegas, and the Running Rebels are out to a 37-29 lead. Back courtside with former Duke assistant Chris Patola, I'm Andrew Catalon. We spoke with Dave Rice earlier today. He said we got to defend the three and we have to cut down turnovers. They've only turned the ball over 3 times, and they've only allowed 2 threes, and it all adds up to an 8-point lead.
They did, and their leading scorers got 14 points. So they played a very efficient first half, and conversely, Utah State not getting a lot of threes. They got 14 points out of David Collette, but they're going to have to be much better, I think, hit some threes in the second half.
Well, Rashad Vaughn, certainly a big player for the Rebels in that first half. He was firing away from deep, and he leads all scorers at UNLV with 14 points.
Off to a hot start. He has those 3 threes. Here you see against the zone, showing you the range here. And then attacking the basket off of that weak side. He's done it in a lot of ways. And they've also gotten 12 points from their bench. Dwayne Morgan, Jordan Cornish, a good half.
Meanwhile, Collette also with 14 points. He was 7 of 10 from the floor. You get the feeling that UNLV really had their way in that first half. Yet, an 8-point game, Collette helped them stick around, as you see the first half numbers.
Well, and this is what's killed Utah State, a team that only turns it over 10 times a game. They've got the 7 turnovers that have led to 10 points for Las Vegas. So taking care of that basketball, critical for this Utah State team.
You mentioned this late in the first half, the silent run. Utah State could not convert right before the buzzer, but they do get the ball here to start the second half.
They do, so a chance to go on a 4-point run, and that's, we used to call them silent runs. If you score at the end of the half and then score to start the half, it's a run that the other, you don't even really feel. UNLV comes out in the zone, spent the most of that first half in man-to-man.
Perry, quick jumper, and Vaughn with the weak shot rebound. Why do you think the change for UNLV defensively?
You know, it's a good question. There's no way to get a team to get them going from behind that 3-point arc than to get into a zone, maybe just to show a little something different. You assume that Stu Morrill drew something up at halftime for that first possession. Just give him a different look. I expect UNLV to go back to that man.
Vaughn with 10 to shoot, lost it, but a whistle and a foul is called on Utah State.
A lot of times you'll see a team out of a timeout come out in a different defense just because the coach was drawing up a play, and there you see just a reach in by Utah State.
Julian Perry, the freshman out of McKinney, Texas. Wood draws the double team. Gets it up top to Doolin. And now Vaughn, just 1 minute into the second half. UNLV trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. Wood lost it going up. No call. And it's Utah State basketball.
You know, for big guys, a lot of it's about having a strong base. Here, a nice roll, but the help defense comes over. Nice job by Utah State. And then Christian Wood just didn't have his legs underneath him. And then UNLV, to your point, Andrew, back in man-to-man.
Yep, there it is. 1 and done. And a timeout was called for by Stu Morrill. Had to burn a timeout, feared the turnover, so we'll come back to Vegas in a moment. 18:27 to go second half. UNLV still up by 8 on top of Utah State as we revisit our AT&T Fast Analysis, Chris.
UNLV done a nice job taking away those Utah State threes. You see they're only 2 of 7 here tonight. It's been a big part of their offense, one of the big concerns for Dave Rice. And then on the other side, UNLV, you see 5 of 6 conference games they've lost. And big reason for that is they have not rebounded the basketball. They've turned it over tonight. They've played it basically even on the glass, and only the 3 turnovers.
I mean, think about some of these leads that UNLV has lost in second halves. You can't really pinpoint a true leader on this team.
Right.
We spoke with Dave Rice about that today, and he said, I'm really the guy that's trying to keep their heads up after some of these tough losses, and that hurts in crunch time.
Well, and you even said to him, you said, besides you, is there a guy who tries to step in? And he pondered that question for about 10 seconds. He said, No, I don't think so. I think it's me.
Now, I think he's got a lot of good character guys that he's recruited this year.
Absolutely.
But they're still young. They're still freshmen. Christian Wood is sophomore, but he wasn't in that role last year. He was a complimentary player more than a focal point. So it's a lot of moving parts here for this UNLV team. And the fans have been on Dave Rice a little bit here at UNLV. They haven't been happy with the 1-5 start in Mountain West play. But again, you look back to the non-conference play and the way that some of these freshmen have played, and it appears that this team is headed in the right direction.
And this freshman class can be tantalizing. What you hope, if you're a fan, if you're Dave Rice, is that these guys stick around, because you've got a bright future. But again, you've got to keep them here.
Let's see if they can hold on down the stretch here tonight. Collette is making it tough on them. He now has 16 points.
There's been no resistance inside on David Collette. He's pretty much gotten, and he's missed some layups. He's pretty much gotten what he wants.
Vaughn from deep. And Moore with the rebound. Utah State actually +3 on the glass today. Another easy one for Collette off the nice feed from Julian Perry.
Somebody has to talk to these interior players for UNLV, because David Collette right now is wearing them out. And he's basically just playing harder than them. They're right there, runs the floor, finds open space underneath the basket.
Dave Rice was trying to go small, but now he's sent Okinobo to the scorer's table. He needs some help down low. And UNLV nearly turns it over. Kendrick bounces to Vaughn off the glass and in.
Nice delivery, and there's Rashad Vaughn again, moving without the basketball.
16 for Vaughn. He averages 17 per night. Perry nearly turned it over, and he does. McCall is able to come away with it. Tough pass from Perry. McCall the other way, and a whistle before the shot, and a foul on the floor against the Aggies.
Patrick McCall, you see the open floor, how good he can be. Another long athlete, 6'6", has been so good for them over the last few games. Inserting him into that starting lineup for Jelon Kendrick has been a great move.
Fouls on Collette, that's his first. Now Okinobo has come back into the game, and Christian Wood has taken a seat on the bench. Vaughn blocked by Collette, and he blocked it right to Moore, who tried to save it, and now Perkins is able to corral it. David Collette having a big game tonight. Perkins step back two, short, and it's fought for out of bounds to UNLV.
You know, I know that's a shot that Perkins can hit, but I don't think that's a good shot early in the shot clock. I think you can get that at any point in that shot clock, and it's not what Utah State does. They are masters at executing the half court. You're down 6, not a good shot on the road.
One of the things Stu Morrill said that he's been particularly proud of is this year. And look, we talked a lot about the youth of UNLV. Stu Morrill said this is the most inexperienced roster he's ever had, but he said that his team has been in every game, and he's very proud of that as Moore is fouled. And you think about the way Utah State is playing right now, this is not their A effort, but they're only down by 6, and they're going to the line when we come back. Timeout on the floor. Saturday night in Las Vegas, and it's been a mini vacation of sorts for Utah State. They've been in town since Wednesday. They played Nevada on Tuesday night on the road, and it just made more sense with travel for the Aggies to come right here to Vegas. So they've been staying at the Palms Hotel, which is a pretty nice deal. They went to Blue Man Group, and Stu Morrill also told us that one of their players, Vico Nomiaya, who's from Las Vegas, played at Sierra Vista Mountain High School. His family had the whole team over for dinner. So 4 days in Vegas. Not bad for Stu Morrill.
He's been doing this a long time, folks. Stu Morrill knows exactly what he's doing. Although I think he's ready to get home. When you asked him about it, he said, yeah, we've been here too long.
Well, you can certainly have concerns about having a basketball team with just practice to worry about for a few days in Las Vegas, but his team had fun, and good for them. Moore is at the line to shoot 2. It's a 6-point game.
There are worse places to be for that stretch of time.
No doubt.
That's for sure.
Good chuckle with Morrill, too, because Dave Rice was his assistant coach for 1 year at Utah State, 2004-2005. And we asked Stu what he thought of Dave as Moore gets the ball right back. And he said, well, he told me he was going to stay for 3 years. He only stayed for 1, and he went to one of our biggest rivals in BYU. So other than that, it was a great 1 year with Dave Rice as McGlaston lays it in. But Morrill was kidding. He thinks the world of Rice, and as we showed you earlier, a nice tribute with Rice giving a present to the retiring Morrill before the game. Well, all of a sudden here, Chris, a 3-point game, another tight one for UNLV.
Oh, and UNLV can go on dry spouts, which they are in right now. They've got to lock down defensively. That last layup, too easy.
Goes out of bounds. Shot clock does not reset with 11 seconds, and some substitutions for UNLV as both Cornish and Morgan check in. And Vaughn and McCaw will get a breather on the UNLV bench. Now they set the shot clock to 15 seconds.
Yeah, because he kicked it and it was under that, under that 15, so they went right back.
Kendrick drives, tough shot in the paint, no good. And Utah State with the rebound. A chance for the Aggies to tie the game with a 3. Collette. Too tough, off the glass. Collette has 20 points.
Whatever he wants. And they're laying behind him, so it's easy to catch. And then once he catches, there is no resistance. He's just going right up over the top.
Doolin for 3. Doolin is now 1 for 5 shooting.
He just doesn't look like he's confident at all. He looks unsure of himself every time he steps into shooting.
Perkins gives Utah State the lead.
Need a timeout here if you're Dave Rice. I'm surprised he's not going to call one. Yeah, there
now he does. A 30-second timeout called for by Dave Rice as Utah State has its first lead of the evening.
I mean, look, it's just too easy. And then Cornish stunts at him, but then right up over the top with the shot blocker, Okanobo. And then Perkins right here, nobody matching up. Confusion defensively. And Utah State getting it going. And I'll tell you what, that defense from UNLV, which was so good in the first half, you see right here, David Collette, 10 of 13. That is the definition of no resistance.
His career high is 32. Had that against USC earlier this year. Well, remember Chris was talking about the silent run. If you go back to 1 minute left in the first half, Utah State is on a 12-2 run.
Yeah, and had a point-blank layup as their last shot to end the half that did not go in for David Collette. So, that run really sparks him. And as we said, Andrew, this UNLV team can go in scoring droughts. They struggle to score, especially in a half court at times. And when your defense is not stopping Utah State, you're in trouble.
UNLV just 1 of 7 shooting this half. And a foul as Cornish was on the drive. You really wonder with a young team that's already been a little down with the way they finish games of late, just that feeling sets in for UNLV now.
That's a great point. There's no question about it. You start to believe that you're not supposed to win. Dave Rice going back to Dwayne Morgan and Jordan Cornish, who gave him 12 points in that first half off the bench. Try to inject a little spark offensively.
This is McCaw, 9 to shoot. Wood, 3.
We'd like to see Wood on that block or high percentage. More
off the front of the rim, and Wood the long rebound. Now McCall on a big shot for the Rebels as they go back on top by 1.
It's a big shot, you know, gives it a little bit of life. Patrick McCall, the son of a head coach.
And now a sloppy turnover by Utah State. Up ahead is Cornish to the hoop, and he missed it. Now McGlaston the other way. Corner to Smith. What a turnaround that is! And Dave Rice is very animated on the UNLV sideline, jumping up and down, showing his frustration. Vaughn is fouled on the three-point shot. He'll shoot 3.
We said it in the first half. They had an alley-oop they missed. Utah State scores on the other end. This is a window right here into who UNLV has been this year. Flashes of potential. The miss that leads to points for the other team on that other end. Just crushing if you're Dave Rice.
Done a lot of UNLV games the last few years, and I can't recall Rice being this animated. It's clear that he's trying to motivate his team, and it's frustrating to see freshmen make freshman mistakes.
Well, that's a look. If you're not going to dunk it, which clearly he was incapable of dunking it on that, you got to lay it up off the glass. It's a missed layup. It's a big play in this game.
3 shots here for Vaughn. One more after tying it up at 44.
You know, to Dave Rice, I mean, like, what are you can't take layups for him. You got to finish plays.
Vaughn gets the roll. UNLV back on top by 1. And has woken up the crowd here at the Thomas and Mack Center. Smith lost it going up, and a turnover by Utah State. That is their 10th of the night. Last 3 games, they were in single digits in turnovers, all 3. Nice pass. Okinobo Wood is fouled. Good look, though, from the freshman. Good luck, Okinobo.
A terrific pass from post player to post player, and that's where you want to see Christian Wood, on that block, where he can use that 6'11" frame, that athleticism. And when you attack the rim to dunk it, you're either going to score or get yourself to that foul line.
And Chris, that's the 3rd foul on David Collette, so something Stu Morrill has to be aware of now. Wood misses the first. Well, don't miss the world's best riders. Saddle up and take their shot at bull riding glory in the PBR Built Ford Tough Series Express Employment Invitational. It's coming up next, only on CBS Sports Network. At one point this year, Wood made 20 consecutive free throws. And he goes 1 out of 2 at the line here.
He's been a good free throw shooter on a poor free throw shooting team. UNLV only 66% in the year.
And there you saw Collette on the bench. Morrill takes him out with 3 fouls. Perry, baseline. Good ball movement. Perkins for 3. Connects. Darius Perkins.
Just that extra pass to the corner we've seen a few times tonight for Patrick McCall. You've got to give a little bit more on that contest.
Utah State only had 2 made threes in the first half. They've already got 3 here in the second half. McCall. And it's UNLV basketball as McGlaston stepped out. Tight one here in Vegas. Utah State has a 1-point lead on UNLV. Always something going on in Las Vegas, and right now Utah State has it going on. They trailed by as many as 10 in the first half, but right now the Aggies have a 1-point lead as you take a look inside the UNLV huddle with Dave Rice trying to motivate his young team.
No threes, make him drive the ball.
No threes, you can hear that. That's something he's been harping on, and we just mentioned it, 2 threes for Utah State in that first half. They were 2 out of 7, and since then 3 out of 4 here in the second half from deep.
And they've come in transition. The half-court defense for UNLV has done a nice job taking away those threes. The problem is you've got to identify shooters early in the possession and chase them off that line. So the early threes for Utah State been a good thing for them here so in this second half.
In all 6 of Utah State's Mountain West games, they have shot at least 45% from deep, and they're starting to heat up here in the second half. Out of the timeout, Morgan jumper. Too strong, and Perkins the board.
Dave Rice, see him on the sideline, did not like that shot.
Glaston nearly hands it back. UNLV is 1 out of its last 8 shooting.
And a big part of that is shot selection. One of the hardest things for freshmen to learn is what is the difference between a good and a bad shot.
A foul is called on UNLV on Patrick McCaw. Chris, we talked so much about rebounding early in the game, and Utah State has just been getting crushed on the boards this entire year. They have 30 rebounds tonight. Their season average is 31, and they're +9 on the glass against UNLV. Perkins sets up the Utah State offense. They have a 1-point lead. Glaston will take it. It's a 2, and it won't go. It's too moral. We're not too happy with that shot selection.
Neither coach happy with the shots their team is getting right now.
Vaughn draws contact. And it's a foul against Perkins. 16 fouls on Utah State, so UNLV will be shooting the rest of the way with 10:27 to go. Doolin inbound. Vaughn drives, strong move, out of bounds. A lot of contact, no call.
Looks like he got fouled to me. My goodness, this is how you want a guy to take it to the rim. I mean, there's contact underneath there, my goodness.
Instead out of bounds to the Rebels. Vaughn thought about a 3, now feeds Wood. His pass deflected, and Wood is able to get it back. Nearly a turnover. Now Cornish from deep. He's got it.
What a big shot. Christian Wood almost turns it over, regains his composure, and you see the ability to deliver the pass cross court.
And Dave Rice has called timeout with 10:08 to go. He's got 2 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, and almost a turnover here, a little casual with the pass, but Wood able to regain it. And look at the vision. Finds him in the corner, steps into it. And Jordan Cornish has come up big for them tonight. Look at this, one-handed pass across the court. Jordan Cornish steps in, and a big shot for UNLV.
Cornish originally committed to Tennessee, but changed his mind when Quanzo Martin went out to Cal, and Dave Rice was happy to take in the New Orleans native. Went to Brother Martin High School. He's one of the top-ranked players in all of Louisiana, had 43 in a game his senior year. And he's made an instant impact from deep for this UNLV team. He's hitting about 55% of his three-point shots. And 2 of 3 tonight. Midway point of the second half, a 2-point UNLV lead. The Rebels trying to stop a 3-game losing streak, while Utah State is hoping to improve to 5-2 in the Mountain West. With Chris Patola, I'm Andrew Catalan, our entire CBS Sports Network crew. Director John Coleman, producer Bruce Clark, and a foul away from the ball. And that's going to go on Dwayne Morgan.
Utah State moving that basketball, working to execute in that half court, leading those fouls. And if you're UNLV, now you got to defend for another 35 seconds.
Chris Collette is still on the bench. How long do you keep him there with the 3 fouls?
I think they're okay here, at least for another minute or 2.
An offensive foul is called on Moore. Take a look at this one.
Well, as a guard of Cody Doolin's size, I'm going to say I sympathize with him, but I don't know how that's an offensive foul.
Moore is listed as 5 inches taller, and he's also 25 pounds heavier than Cody Doolin. And now Collette is at the scorer's table. Julian Perry is called for his second.
And here comes Collette, to your point, Andrew, and he's been so big for them tonight, been that physical presence, but Elston Jones gave him good minutes.
So Collette back in, 3 fouls. He leads all scorers with 20 points. Rashad Vaughn has 19 for UNLV. And Jelon Kendrick is at the line. A 1-and-1 for UNLV. And Kendrick was just a 52% free throw shooter. He makes the first.
That's the other part. We've talked about how UNLV has not been able to close out close games. The fact that they are a poor free throw shooting team also plays into that.
They have fared better in Mountain West play from the line, but for the season, just 66%. And Kendrick makes them both. (51-47) as we approach 9 minutes to play here in Las Vegas. Crowd is on a spur on the Rebels, but Glaston's able to quiet them.
That's a big-time shot right there. One bounce into it. Glaston, a very good athlete, has blossomed in that 6-man role. He's now playing for this Utah State team.
Wood left open from deep. Moore does a great job of going up to get that rebound. Utah State is now matched its season average with 31 boards. 3-ball there is good from Perry.
They caught Patrick McCaw staring at the ball handler down the paint, and a nice kick out and too late on the pressure.
6th 3 for the Aggies, and they go back up by 1. Can UNLV answer? Wood on the perimeter. 6th lead change tonight. UNLV cannot get anything going inside. 5 on the shot clock. McCall from deep. And the rebound to McGlaston, but UNLV, Chris, did not even try to go inside.
They're settling. And that's what the zone wants. Utah State packing it in, forcing UNLV to beat them over the top. And UNLV is taking them, just not making them.
And Stu Morrill has called a timeout with 7:32 to play. And his team leading by 1. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining.
Execution at this point in the game, Andrew, so critical. Shot selection, a big part of that. And if you're Stu Morrill, you will live with UNLV taking those threes, especially if Christian Wood's out there taking them.
Well, there's no doubt that Utah State is starting to heat up from deep, and it's thanks to these 3 primarily. Smith, Moore, and Perry have just been lights out all season tonight, and now 6 threes for the Aggies. As a team, they're shooting 69% in the second half.
There was a sense of resolve on the part of UNLV in the first half of chasing those 3-point shooters off that line, making them put it on the floor. In the second half, that last possession, a perfect example. Patrick McCaw just falls asleep on a penetration, turns his back on the shooter, and Utah State steps in and knocks it down.
Jalen Moore will inbound to Darius Perkins, who sets up this Utah State set. Seconds on the shot clock. Perkins comes off the Collette screen. He's fouled. Perkins will shoot 3.
How about that turnaround right there? Dave Rice, good thing He's wearing running sneakers today because after the foul, he ran all the way down his sideline. Utah State, when we come back, going to that foul line to take three. They're up one. We're going to have a great finish here. Burns is back. Too late.
We're back with our AT&T game summary. Utah State 6 of 12 from deep, 11 turnovers, only 3 for UNLV, yet the Rebels trail by 1. Back with former Duke assistant Chris Patola, I'm Andrew Catalan. Even though it's a one-point game, Utah State has all the momentum right now. How does UNLV get it going back in their favor?
Well, they have to stop settling for threes. They've taken 24 threes in this game, a team that does not shoot well from the perimeter. They have a distinct size advantage. You've got to put Christian Wood on the block, allow him to go to work, and then they have to continue to do the job they were doing in the first half, guarding that three-point line.
Their season high is 29 three-point field goal attempts, already 24. As Chris just said, they have not tried to penetrate much inside in this second half. Let's see what they do with 7:11 to play. As we've chronicled throughout the night, a UNLV team that has had a lot of late leads slip away this year, specifically in Mountain West play. Can they get over the hump down the stretch? They're faced with another test tonight, and right now Darius Perkins will shoot 3 for Utah State, and he misses the first.
You talked about a team, what starts to creep into their mind. You know, when you've lost a lot of these close games, you're 1-5 in conference, you start to believe that you're not supposed to win these games. And you know, with a young team, you can start to rationalize losing. Like, you know, it's okay to lose, we're young, we're this.
One more for Perkins, who's got a dozen points tonight. And he sinks that one. We've got a three-point game with 7:11 to play. It's Doolin, McCall, Vaughn, Okinobo, and Kendrick on the floor for the Runnin' Rebels. Up to Kendrick. They'll take that. And the rebound down to Perry.
Rashad Vaughn has gone quiet for UNLV. They tried getting him. They were running him along that baseline. Chris Smith doing a nice job chasing him. UNLV couldn't get it to their leading scorer.
And a foul is called on Vaughn. Chris, Utah State is plus 10 on the glass tonight. For the season, they average -9. It's unacceptable if you're UNLV.
There's no question about it. And a lot of it's UNLV's been out of position because of the shot selection. Longer rebounds. Utah State has chased them down. But you're right. If you're Dave Rice, that's unacceptable.
Third foul on Rashad Vaughn. It's a 7-0 run for Utah State. And now Wood is at the scorer's table. And McGlaston lost it. 12th Utah State turnover.
Now nobody for UNLV able to break Utah State down off the dribble.
Okinobo tripped going to the basket, and a foul is called on Utah State. There was a little bit of contact. Keep in mind, Okinobo's playing with the plantar fasciitis in his right foot.
It's the foot that got hit. Good action here. And
contact with Perkins.
Yeah.
Okinobo is wearing added support in his right sneaker. Now he's not a very good free throw shooter. It's a 1-and-1. He misses. So he's 30% on the season from the line. Perkins step back jumper is good. That's a tough shot from the junior out of Fort Myers, Florida. And it's a 5-point Utah State lead.
Been so big for them, has Perkins. Said he was thinking too much earlier in the year. He stopped thinking, started playing instinctively. He's been great for them in the last few minutes here.
Vaughn, deep three. He's got it. Rashad Vaughn's got 22 points. Timeout called for by Dave Rice, a full timeout. Well, UNLV before that shot had missed 11 of its last 13 field goals, but Vaughn with a big three. And Chris, that's the area he was practicing from 2 hours before the game today.
It was, and if you're Darius Perkins, I don't know why you leave Rashad Vaughn. UNLV been trying to get him the basketball. They've shadowed him much of this half, and you give him a little bit of space, and he's knocking it down, and they're going to need him to be big in this last few minutes here. He's really the only guy who you can go to and get consistent points.
Dave Rice now only has one timeout remaining. It's the second time in the last 5 minutes that his team has hit a three, and then he's immediately called a timeout. Well, don't forget, tomorrow college basketball action continues on CBS Sports Network with a triple header of men's and women's action. It all tips off with USF taking on Kevin Ollie and the defending national champion UConn Huskies at 12 Eastern, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So Utah State, no doubt, has used the three to get back in this game, Chris.
It's been a huge part of their offense, and it starts with their ability to share the basketball. They average 17 assists a game, and here you see just an extra pass down in the corner, all of them willing passers, and then you got to have guys who step in and make those shots, which they have. And as I was saying earlier, Andrew, UNLV, not the same sense of urgency to chase those shooters off as they had in that first half.
So remember now, just one timeout left for UNLV. With 5:25 to play, they trail by 2. Collette, turnaround hook is no good, but a foul is called.
It all starts, in the post, it all starts with where you catch it in the angle that you have. And if you look here, when he catches this, he's wide open. There's nobody around him. Then the defense comes late. Collette drives a little close in by Okanobo, and he gets himself to the foul line. He has been able to catch it freely all night long, and you see those are the numbers that result.
Collette misses the first free throw. It's the third foul on Okanobo. And now one more for the redshirt freshman, David Collette, out of Murray, Utah. 62% free throw shooter, and he misses them both.
This has not been a free throw shooting masterpiece by both teams.
Vaughn, step back jumper is good, and he ties the game at 56. 24 points for Rashad Vaughn.
He's a tough shot maker, created a little space with that off arm.
4:40 to go. Moore. Up top, Perkins from deep. It's good. Utah State still firing away from deep, and they go back up by 3.
And UNLV went to his own there. And Utah State does a nice job pitching to the short corner and then kicking out to the open Perkins. How big has he been, Andrew?
Perkins has been huge. He's got 18 points, which is just 3 off his career high. We have a foul here on the other end with 4:15 to go.
I mentioned they went to the zone. I don't understand that move. I mean, because that's the shot that's going to be open. You're looking at a Utah State team that has shot it so well in the second half. You basically give Perkins, once that ball went inside of that short corner, you give Perkins a free look.
Vaughn is at the line where tonight he's gone 4 out of 4. And he's still perfect. 25 points for Rashad Vaughn, and we talked about guys stepping up down the stretch for UNLV. Tonight it seems to be like it's got to be Vaughn. He's had the hot hand, but he misses the second free throw.
He has to get a touch every time down. Now they go to a 1-3-1 zone here. We got Christian Wood at the top, Cody Doolin along that baseline.
Good ball movement. Moore thought about a 3, instead settles for a 2, and he knocks it down. And a timeout called for by Utah State and Stu Morrill. So now the Aggies have just one timeout remaining. 3:51 to go. Another good one here in Las Vegas. As you take another look at that one from Jalen Moore.
Here's the Perkins one
Perkins.
first. Yeah, and it was against the 2-3 zone. They then shift to the 1-3-1, and Jalen Moore knocks down that shot. What the last two possessions have shown us is Dave Rice has very little confidence in that man-to-man. And look at the leadership. Jalen Moore just talking to his teammate Khaled again, talking to Perkins. Jalen Moore only a sophomore, but is taking the lead both in hairstyle and on the floor.
Well, Utah State has debuted 9 new players this year. And even though Moore is a sophomore, he's their top returning scorer. He averaged 5 points per game last year. So a whole new look for this Utah State team as well. And what a road trip this would be if they can go to Nevada on Tuesday and then come here to Las Vegas tonight and sweep this Nevada road trip. They would go to 5-2 in the Mountain West, and they host Wyoming on Tuesday. Logan should be rocking for that one. But right now, they're going to try to finish off the Rebels. It's a 4-point game, 3:50 to go. Each team with 1 timeout remaining. Both teams shooting the rest of the way. Vaughn. Kendrick in the corner, drives in, trying to use the glass, won't go, gets his own rebound, tries to go back up with it, no call. Wood underneath, out of bounds to Utah State. Good hustle and effort by Kendrick inside, but he couldn't get it to go. Big finish coming on our Saturday Overdrive. Utah State up by 4.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Our Saturday Overdrive continues here with 3:20 to go in the second half, and Darius Perkins making this his night. He's got 18 points.
Typically a distributor is Darius Perkins. He's 5th in the conference in assists. But as you said, Andrew, he's got 18 tonight, 4 of Utah State's 7 threes. Utah State shooting 75% in this second half, 53% for the game. Unbelievable.
Utah State has led for just 7 minutes, but all that matters is who leads at the end. And right now, the Aggies in front. They try to get to 5-2 in the Mountain West, while Dave Rice's Rebels look to avoid a 4-game losing streak. How about these numbers shooting in the second half? Utah State from the floor, 75%. UNLV, 25%. They have 5 field goals. They need buckets. Right now, they need defense.
Well, and they're back in the man-to-man. Dave Rice searching, goes to the 2-3 zone, 1-3-1. Now he's back in that man.
Smith launches. Not this time. And Vaughn with the rebound. Vaughn has 25 points and 6 boards. Cornish is out there. Remember, he can shoot the 3. And a bump and contact. And now Vaughn will go to the line. Fouls on JoJo McGlaston. That's his 2nd.
He's the one guy, is Rashad Vaughn, who could attack off that dribble and draws the foul. Now the key is UNLV has not hit their free throws consistently tonight. They have got to make them now. This is a big 2 free throws right here for Rashad Vaughn. It's been such a struggle to score for them, for UNLV in this second half, that anytime they get to the line in the next 2.5 minutes, they've got to convert.
One more for Vaughn. Makes them both. One guy that has just been so quiet this second half is Christian Wood. He's got 1 point, no field goals. Let's see if UNLV gets him involved next offensive set. PBR Built Ford Tough Series coming up next when we're done here in Vegas. Collette lost it, a turnover. It's Wood in transition to Cornish. Nowhere to go. Puts up a shot, no good. Out of bounds to Utah State.
It just... You know, we can hammer it home once again. A great transition opportunity for UNLV, and they come up empty. We have seen this time and time again tonight. You've got to go strong there if you're Jordan Cornish. UNLV comes up empty.
13 turnovers for the Aggies, but UNLV has not made them pay. And the Aggies still up by 2 with 2 minutes to go. Perkins has had the hot hand this half. Hands it off to Moore with 10 to shoot. Moore nowhere to go. It's over to Perkins with 5 on the shot clock. Perkins baseline, and Vaughn is able to come away with it. UNLV looking to tie the game with a 2, take the lead with a 3. Vaughn had it stripped, and a turnover. Dave Rice is on the floor looking for a foul. Doesn't get a call. Stu Morrow wants his team now to use up this shot clock. Chance of defense here from the fans at the Thomas and Mack Center. Perkins with 8 to shoot. Over to Smith. Moore now, 5 on the shot clock. Moore trying to get contact, and he does. Wood leaned into him, and Moore draws the foul. And Dave Rice again on the court. He's got to be careful.
Well, he wanted a foul on the other end on Rashad Vaughn. And then here,
you can see Dave Rice, top of your screen. Look how far on the court he is.
There he is up there. You know, he fouls him. I mean, it just, it's a really heads-up play by Jalen Moore. And if you're Christian Wood, you're 6'11", just use your length. Put your hands up in the air, contest the shot that way. How about that turnaround? I mean, this is the play where Dave Rice, he was infuriated. He wanted a foul on this play right here, and he's gotten this call tonight. I mean, there's contact there. He has a case. But then certainly on the other end, Jalen Moore gets fouled by Christian Wood.
Well, UNLV, they are no stranger to these close finishes, including this past Wednesday here in this building against New Mexico. Jordan Goodman, the tip in with 9 seconds left. That put the Lobos up 2, and then Kendrick was stripped. And New Mexico, Noodles with the bold pocket square. And his team walked out with a 2-point win. And again, UNLV in this same position, a close game late. They have not been able to get over the hump. Can they do it this time against the Aggies? Right now, it's Moore at the line.
And if you're them, you've got to put these last calls out of your mind. Stu Morrow getting ready for retirement.
Moore with 3 shots after the foul by Wood.
How big Jalen Moore has been. He's got 11 boards here tonight. He's their leading scorer, has not scored a lot, but he hits a big bucket on the baseline earlier and then gets himself fouled to go to the foul line.
And gets the job done at the foul line. It's back up to a 5-point game. 1:03 to go. Where will UNLV go for offense? It's been Vaughn. He takes the deep 3. And the rebound to Moore is 12th, and then he was fouled.
That's just not, that's a settle. That's not a good shot. That's not a good shot. Utah State, they don't want to foul you. You put it on the floor, you get yourself to the line, you try to lengthen this game. Instead, you settle, and we've seen him hit it. We have seen him hit that shot here tonight, but at this point in the game, drive that closeout, try to create something. Instead, you shoot a contested 28-footer.
Some of the fans heading for the exits here at the Thomas and Mack Center, and as UNLV is in danger of falling to 1-6 in conference play, but we're not done yet. 5-point game, 45 seconds left. Cornish fires, blocked, but he's fouled. McGlaston looked to get all ball, but instead Cornish will get 3 shots.
Just 2 young teams. You don't need to do this. It's going to be a tough shot anyway.
He got a little contact.
Yeah, he definitely, especially when you get the call on the other end on Christian Wood. I mean, they're going to call that.
3rd foul on McGlaston. Now Cornish at the line, where he's 20 out of 22 on the year. And he keeps the good times rolling. A 4-point game. Both teams shooting 2 free throws the rest of the way. One more for Cornish. Cornish gets it done, makes all 3. Timeout UNLV. That's their final timeout with 43 seconds remaining. All right, Chris, how do you play this if you're UNLV? A difference of 8 seconds between game clock and shot clock. Do you play D? Do you foul? What do you do if you're Dave Rice?
Well, you're going to evaluate your opponent and how well they shoot free throws. I'm fouling Utah State. You assume if Darius Perkins, their point guard, catches it, he's only 63% from the foul line. So, you know, those are the percentages. Right now, if you're Dave Rice, you're telling your team, if Perkins catches it, you lay one on him. If Jalen Moore catches it, you try to get it out of his hands into one of these poorer foul shooters. But that's too close, Andrew. 43 seconds, you know, especially with the way that UNLV has defended here tonight, you've got to prolong this game. You've got to put them at the foul line. In conference, Utah State only shooting 53% from that line. So that's why I say you go ahead and lay a foul. You force them to win this game at that foul line.
And tonight the Aggies 57% from the line. Full court pressure from UNLV. Smith trying to inbound it, finds Moore. And along the sideline, he's fouled. It looked like he may have been falling out of bounds on a foul call. Instead, we'll send Moore to the line.
Oh, and there's Perkins. They're denying Perkins. And the better foul shooter, Jalen Moore, shoots 72% from the foul line. They let him catch it and then lay one on him.
Wow, it looked like Moore was in danger of just tossing that one up.
Right. Or falling out of bounds himself.
So 5 of 8 from the line tonight for Jalen Moore. Misses the first.
Now, you don't, if he makes this and you're UNLV, they have no timeouts. You want a quick push. You do not need 3. Attack the rim, go to finish, and try to create.
We've seen UNLV settle for a lot of deep 3-point shots in this second half. Given an opportunity, will they try to get it inside on a drive by Vaughn or maybe feeding Wood as Moore makes the second a 3-point game. 42 seconds to play. Doolin brings the ball up the floor. Vaughn, straight away. Drives right to the hoop, off the glass and good. 1-point game, no timeouts for UNLV. Perkins over to Perry and now Moore. They're trying to foul and now Wood levels him, but a lot of time came off the clock. UNLV could have given that foul a lot earlier.
Right in the corner. I mean, I know they wanted to hit one good trap, but again, you allow them to put the ball. Here's the take by Vaughn, and that's what you want to do. David Collette wants no part of a foul there. And then just a lot of time comes off that clock before they can foul.
Moore back at the line for 2 more.
And yet again, this goes in. You do not need 3. I would put the ball right in Rashad Vaughn's hands. Don't mess with having to run the baseline. Just put it in his hands and let him drive to the rim.
Moore makes them both. 3-point game, 22 seconds left. Doolin again brings the ball up the floor.
You got to go. Get it in his hands.
They get it to Vaughn. 15 seconds left. Vaughn drives. Now dishes to Wood for the jam. UNLV down 1. 10 seconds to go. No timeouts. Foul. And they finally do with 8.7 left. And that is a guy that you highlighted, a good one to foul. And Darius Perkins just 63%. Well, it looked like Vaughn was just setting up to take that 3. Instead, a great move by the freshman.
That's a big-time play by Wood, who's been very quiet in the second half. And typically there, you know, a mature play by Rashad Vaughn. Doesn't force it. He knows Wood's running that baseline.
That's the first field goal this half for Christian Wood. Perkins misses the first. Now I take you back to the 10-minute mark and the 5-minute mark. As you see this again, when Dave Rice called timeout after a three that his team made, could he want one now? Yeah. He doesn't have one. Perkins makes the second. Stu Morrill will call his final timeout.
Here's the thing. There's 8 seconds left, and what they're doing is they're running Rashad Vaughn down to the other end and then bringing him to the top of the key so he can catch. That's going to take too much time here. Put the ball in his hands, set a screen for him in the backcourt, put it in his hands, let him drive the ball, and he's already shown you that he can finish, or if he draws that help, he can throw up a lob.
One thing we do want to bring up as you go back to that last possession.
See, they're starting him down on the baseline and then allowing him to catch. The problem is with 8 seconds left, there's not enough time for that. Put it in his hands in the backcourt and then allow him to create.
Vaughn has tied his career high tonight with 29. And as we mentioned earlier, 2 hours before the game, there was one player out on this court warming up and practicing. It was Rashad Vaughn. And he took some deep threes as part of his pregame routine. So keep that in mind if he does decide to shoot a three here down the stretch. But you would think with the 8 seconds, you go to the hoop.
You go right to the basket, and what you've seen, I mean, the length of Christian Wood, you have options if you're UNLV. You've got Vaughn. He could get fouled. And then you've also got, if you draw that help, if the defense helps up, you've got those long athletes on that baseline.
PBR Built Ford Tough Series coming up next here on CBS Sports Network. Utah State trying to win its 3rd straight game, and UNLV once again finds itself in a close game late. They have not been able to seal the deal. They trail by 2. And it appears that Vaughn will inbound for UNLV.
Yeah, they'll probably throw it right back to him, assuming that Utah State was going to put some token pressure on, which they are.
No timeouts left for either team. Rebels down 2. Vaughn to Doolin. Doolin in the front court. Finds McCall with 3. Floater. It's good! McCall gets it to go. We're tied. 1 second left. Perry at the buzzer. We're going to overtime.
UNLV 68, Utah State 68.
Where's all those people who left? Where are you, you fair weather fans?
How does this shot go in? Unbelievable by McCall.
Look at this shot. I mean, that's a horse shot right there. There you're playing horse with your buddies. You throw it up off of one leg. Wow.
We're going to overtime in Vegas on our Saturday Overdrive. Back after this. We are back in Vegas, and this overtime is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings on a wild finish here at the Thomas and Mack Center as Patrick McCaw threw up a floater. It goes in, and UNLV and Utah State are going to overtime. 5 more minutes on the clock as we go back to that last shot. Keep an eye on Wood underneath. He nearly interfered with this one.
Well, he does. It looks like he hits the rim, which if he did.
Oh, he did hit the rim.
I mean, that's.
Wow.
Now, that's a tough. That'd be a heck of a call in that situation. How about that shot? My goodness.
Oh, it's very close, but it does appear that Wood did hit the rim. Wow. So UNLV may have caught a big break right there. Now we go to overtime this season. Utah State 0-2 in OTs, and UNLV is 1-1.
How big was Rashad Vaughn at the end there? I mean, he bailed him out about 4 separate possessions. What a talent.
Utah State controls the tip. 5 minutes on the clock. Utah State has not been able to locate Collette much in this second half. He was on the bench for a while. They get it to him here, and Collette not able to convert. Out of bounds off of UNLV to Utah State.
A little late because he was open off the ball screen at the top. He rolled. Both the Defender stayed with the ball handler. Just hit him a little late.
Collette has 20 points to lead the Aggies, and Perkins right behind him with 19. This is Perkins, short, and Moore, the offensive rebound. Goes back up with it, and he's fouled.
I've been so impressed with Jalen Moore. He's been a leader for them, and he's come up big down the stretch. He had some missed free throws towards the end, but look at this rebound, just right over the top, and Cody Doolin just has no chance.
A double-double for Moore tonight. He's got 10 points and 13 rebounds, and at the line to try to give the Aggies the lead. Meanwhile, that was the 4th foul on Christian Wood. Moore's been clutch at the line, and Utah State up by 2.
Utah State back in the zone.
Cornish, a guy that can beat that zone. Instead, Vaughn gives it a try, follows his shot, and it comes right out to Perkins. Vaughn knew he was off the mark right from the release, and now Utah State ball.
And that's what the zone offers you. Vaughn had success at the end of the game there, end of regulation, driving that man-to-man of Utah State.
But blasted to the hoop for 2. Woo! Tough one from the sophomore out of Dublin, California. 4 straight points for the Aggies. Cornish drives baseline and finds room, could not finish it. Moore with his 14th rebound.
Dave Rice going to be kicking himself. They have had so many looks right at the basket tonight that have not gone down.
Moore trying to get it to Collette. Good defense by Wood. Now Moore over to Collette with 10 on the shot clock. He spins to the hoop for 2. How about Utah State? 6 straight points out of the gate here in OT.
Utah State, you have a good one in David Collette. He has been a monster here tonight. We've seen 2 performances. Rashad Vaughn for UNLV, and that guy right there, David Collette. He has been good for them all year, but this has been a big-time coming-out party. Look at this. To his left, the spin and the finish.
Our Buffalo Wild Wings game reset here in overtime. UNLV just called their lone timeout here in OT. So none remaining for the Rebels. Utah State has scored the first 6 points of OT. Both teams shooting 2 free throws the rest of the way. And the possession arrow favors the running Rebels, who have gone cold here in OT. And David Collette with a monster night. 22 points, 11 of 15 from the floor.
That's no resistance on the interior. He's been able to catch it where he wants with the angle that he wants. And then that guy, these 2 performances tonight have been unbelievable.
Good call.
They say, get the ball in the middle of the zone.
Vaughn in the middle. Shot won't go. Gets the rebound. Put back is good.
There you go. See, they've settled a lot in the second half against that zone for long threes. If you either on the pass or on the dribble, get it into the teeth of the defense, and you can score.
A new career high for Vaughn. He's got 31 points. Matched up with Moore here. Moore turnaround short, and the rebound to Kendrick, who is checked into the game. Kendrick to Wood, cutting and finishing.
Wow! Like go-go gadget arms on that from Christian Wood. The length.
And a whistle on the drive and a foul against UNLV. That's on Cody Doolin, his 4th foul.
Like the legendary Inspector Gadget, the arms extend Another 3 feet on Christian Wood. Over the top.
I like how you've given Inspector Gadget legendary status.
He is. Would you disagree?
No, it's hard to argue. Free throw no good by McGlaston. Utah State scored the first 6 points of overtime. UNLV has the last 4.
I'll give UNLV a lot of credit. A team that has lost a lot of close games. They have battled their way.
Now they're going to reset the game clock from 152 to 156. Dave Rice said earlier this week, we are very close, yet it feels like a million miles away. And it'll feel a lot closer if they can get over the hump in one of these games. They are close in a lot of their Mountain West games, just haven't finished. Here they are again, trying to get the deal done, down by 3 in overtime.
In the zone, you see the middle wide open there.
Vaughn over to Doolin with 12 to shoot. Wood was calling for the ball. They don't get it to him. Kendrick free throw line. Now McCall, corner 3. Good! And we're tied at 75.
The ball stayed on the left side of the floor almost the entire shot clock. Once they got it into the middle, we're able to play inside out and leads to the 3.
Fans on their feet.
Except for the ones that left.
1 minute to go in overtime. Collette jumper is good. He's been money all night. Now 12 out of 16 from the floor. Collette has 24 points. Vaughn on the wing. Cross court, Kendrick. Now Wood inside, and he draws some contact and a whistle. So Christian Wood will go to the line to shoot 2.
Here's this 3. That's what you do, and this is a nice find. Good composure by Jelon Kendrick. And then here's the one on the other end. How good has David Collette been? That's not an easy shot. That's a contested 15-foot shot from the redshirt freshman.
Wood is 1 of 2 at the line tonight. Makes the first.
Christian Wood on that last possession, he's like a deer. I mean, there's so much upside. If this kid goes pro, what a mistake. He's got so much talent, but man, he's got to play. He's got no base right now. He just showed you in the last possession. He posts up.
Makes some clutch free throws. We're tied at 77 now. A 3-second differential between game clock and shot clock. And Stu Morrill is indicating he wants his team to take this down.
Yeah, he's twirling his finger, wants to run some dummy motion here. And then I would imagine get into a set as the clock winds down.
He does have 1 timeout remaining if he chooses to use it. 20 seconds to go. And finally, Morrill, who is signifying for a timeout for a few seconds, gets it granted with 17.4 on the clock. Just a difference of 2 seconds between game clock and shot clock. Don't forget, coming up next on CBS Sports Network, PBR Built for Tough Series, and it will be seen in its entirety from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. But the party never stops in Vegas.
It does not.
As we're in overtime and tied, and we'll see what Utah State draws up out of this timeout as Dave Rice tries to rally his team to play some defense. Remember, any foul sends the opponent to the line for 2. If you were Stu Morrill, what would you draw up in that Utah State huddle?
I would draw some sort of screening action with Jalen Moore or David Collette. Collette has been so efficient inside. They have not been able to stop him. He's either scored or gotten fouled. You either try to post him on one of those blocks or you create some sort of curling action with Moore and Collette. But you want something going to the basket, Andrew, something that where you can either get a shot in the paint or get yourself to that foul line. And you see right here, David Collette already starting on the block.
Perkins brings the ball to the front court. Final 10 seconds of the first overtime. McGlaston for three. Short. Rebound to Doolin. And he's fouled by Collette. What an incredible mistake by David Collette, who's now fouled out of the game. A foul in the backcourt with 2.4 on the clock.
I don't imagine that's the shot they wanted, and then, you know, he's played so hard all night. That's just, I mean, obviously it's not a smart play. You know, I don't know what you're doing. He may not have known time and score. He may not have known it was a tie game. I don't know how he couldn't have known that, but that's...
We were basically looking at a second overtime unless UNLV could hit a half-court shot. They did not have a timeout to stop the clock. Instead, the foul not only stops the clock, but sends Cody Doolin to the line for 2 shots. And he makes the first. UNLV has had a lot of misfortune late in games of late. Something finally goes their way. He tried to miss it, instead he banks it in. So now 2.4 to go, a 2-point game. Moore at half court, 3 at the buzzer, short! And UNLV walks off with a 2-point overtime win.
What a game. Your heart bleeds for that kid because he was so terrific. But how about this UNLV fight? They've lost so many close games, and they won this game with how they battled at the end of regulation. They played it to perfection and got an all-time effort from Rashad Vaughn.
UNLV stops a 3-game losing streak. Rashad Vaughn, a career-high 31 points. And David Collette led the Aggies with 24. But it's that foul late in overtime that sent UNLV to victory. What a game here in Las Vegas. The Aggies fall to 4-3 in the Mountain West. UNLV goes to 2-5. That was fun, partner.
That was. Half the fans left, Andrew. Where are they?
They watched on CBS Sports Network. For Chris Pateau and our entire CBS crew, I'm Andrew Catalan. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Now let's go to the PBR Built for Tough Series from Oklahoma City, which will air in its entirety on CBS Sports Network.